Hey, so I'm going to be making a tutorial about how to apply some basic shaders in Unity. This will not cover writing your own shaders, just some of the basic built-in shaders. Now, first of all, I have set up my scene with some lights and my object and some grass for some color contrast. But you're going to start out with your object. In my case, it is this cube object. Now, before you can do anything, it is important that you apply a texture. And I have this brick texture right here that I'm using. And to apply the texture, you can drag and drop it onto the object, or you can drag and drop it down here in the shader section. So once it has a texture applied, you're able to choose your shader down here in this bottom right corner of the inspector panel. And there are a couple of simple shaders you can use that don't require any kind of mapping, and those are the diffuse shader, which is just kind of an average shader. And then you can use the specular shader, which adds a little bit of a highlight and shine. You can see it in the light. There you go. Now it's really shiny. And then you can also use the vertex one, which also adds its own form of shine, though I think it calculates based on the vertices. Okay, so I'll put it back on diffuse for now. Now, as you can see, there's all these other options up here too. So if you wanted to do one of the bumped ones, which are good for adding some depth, which is pretty good for textures like this with the bricks. If you want to make it look like the bricks are sticking out and there's like mortar packed in between them and stuff. Now you'll notice down here in the shader box down here that when you select the shader, there is another box over here for a normal map because it doesn't look any different from the regular diffuse right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to need to have a normal map to put in there. Now, a normal map is for Unity to see where the height and the depth is. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a grayscale image of the texture you're using. So I have this grayscale brick picture. And what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to the right in the inspector once you have selected your grayscale texture. And what you're going to want to do is click on this little drop down box. Then you're going to want to click on normal map. And make sure this box right here that says create from grayscale is checked. And then once you do that, you're going to click apply. Now it's important to know that when you're creating a normal map and when you're doing the grayscale, that the white areas are the areas that are going to be raised and protrude from the object. And then the black and the gray areas are going to be further into the object. It's important to remember that when you're making one. Now, when it's done applying the normal map to your texture, it'll look kind of blue like this, which is good. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So what you're going to do now, you're just going to click on your object, go back down here, and you're going to drag your normal map, boop, right there. And as you can see, it has created some depth. It looks like actual bricks. And it looks like they're sticking out. Alright, so there's the bump to diffuse. And you can come back down here to the right corner, and you can also choose the bumped specular if you want it to have a nice shiny highlight on it. Alright, next, the parallax shaders. Now, if you click on one of those, you'll notice that there is another field that you can use. Mine has this filled in from when I was playing around with it earlier, but I'm going to change that. Don't worry about that. So, if you'll notice, this should be at the bottom. Okay, so this doesn't look any different right now from bumped diffuse. So go back to parallax diffuse. Now, to use the parallax shaders, you're going to need a height map down here at the bottom. This is the new one you can add. Now, to make a height map, you are going to need another grayscale image of your texture. So I have another copy to use. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on it and select it. And then you're going to go up here. And you're going to leave it as a texture. But you're going to want to click this box right here that says Alpha from Grayscale. Boop, right there. Then you're going to want to hit Apply. And this will help Unity determine how far out the height can go. Like, you probably won't want to turn it up all the way. It probably won't look right. But as you'll be able to see, click on your object, go down here. You're going to choose your height map, drag it in the height map spot. And now you can use this slider over here to determine how far you want your bricks to stick out. It doesn't look very good when it's out all the way, in my opinion. But for other textures, you might be able to get away with it. But you can see the difference when you play with the height slider. Now, with parallax, there's also parallax specular, which also gives it that nice shine like the other specular shaders. And there you go. That's how you apply some of the basic shaders.